Your Daily 180, 180 seconds of pure Bible study.
We're looking at the book of Hosea. And the book of Hosea tells us several things. Number one, it tells us that God's love is just beyond comprehension. To think that God would love such a rebellious, wicked people. Romans 5 and verse 8 says that God demonstrates His own love toward us in this, that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. But it also tells us about the devastation of rebellion and sin, and how man can sink to such depths that it becomes unbelievable. And one of the lessons that we learn from the book of Hosea is that inward corruption is much more dangerous to us individually and to the church than any external enemy. People become very concerned about those who are the enemies of Christianity. Listen, that doesn't really need to concern us. We need to be vigilant. We need to understand that. But we need to be concerned about the enemy within. And so how do we fight that tendency to rebel, that tendency to mix with the world? How do we deal with that? Paul would make a plea in Romans chapter 12 and verse number 1. Romans 12 verse 1. I beseech you, or we could say, I beg you. I beseech you, therefore, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable to God, which is your reasonable sacrifice. Now I want you to think about this for just a few moments. Paul here is saying, I want you to live your lives in such a way that it would be an acceptable sacrifice. What do we know about sacrifices from the Old Testament? Well, they had to be the very best. They had to be without a blemish. We recognize the fact that they had to be completely offered. Well, when we're told that we're to offer ourselves as a living sacrifice, it's not that we lay ourselves on an altar and give up our physical lives, but we lay ourselves on an altar and give up our selfishness, we give up our pride, and we realize we must be holy to the Lord, and we must live for Him always. That's how you overcome the corruption that's within. Join us again tomorrow for your Daily 180.